Harvard class of 1985. I'm Dr. Diane Smith. I'm so honored to be guest speaker here at your esteemed university, and I'm excited to share with you about the ICU, or Intensive Care Unit, and how important it is for medical treatments globally. However, in order to tell the story of the ICU, I must first tell the story of a machine so revolutionary it triggered a massive political program, inspired social movements, and led to an entirely new type of medical care still used to this day. I'm talking, of course, about the iron lung. The iron lung was the first mechanical respirator and was primarily used to treat polio patients. In the 1910s, many children caught polio, and the disease paralyzed their diaphragms, causing thousands to suffocate. Neither prevention nor treatment existed. However, the iron lung wasn't solely born of a reaction to the polio virus. Its creation was a journey. Its growth and popularity came from surprising reactions, and the result triggered that medical reform. So, let's go back in time to 1926, right here at Harvard, and start with the studies of Professor Philip Drinker. Dr. Shaw, I have a new development to share. The Consolidated Gas Company from New York has given us funds to go towards our research in artificial resuscitation and to produce a machine capable of treating those asphyxiated with natural gas. I believe we can use my research regarding negative pressure for this project. Since taking air out of the sealed box creates a negative pressure vacuum, pulling outside air inwards, switching to positive pressure, in turn, causes everything that had been pulled in by the vacuum to be pushed back out. We can use this to manipulate the diaphragm into breathing. Let's get to work. Months of research have led up to this. All right, I have the cat here. Now that the paralysis has taken effect, and she's inside the machine, what do you say, Dr. Shaw? It works! The first machine ever to breathe for a fully paralyzed creature. Oh, think about it. For hundreds of years, inventors and doctors alike have tried their luck at creating a machine such as this, but we're the ones to have done it. This is truly a revolutionary machine right here. I'll consult with the gas company and go to the tinsmith to get us a box big enough for a man. I shall also apply for patents in order to protect our technology. Soon, our respirator will be complete and functional. The Boston Children's Hospital knew about our machine and how well it had done while testing, so they urged us to treat a girl, aged 8 years, who was diagnosed one day earlier with poliomyelitis. She was placed inside our respirator and regained healthy color almost immediately. In her own words, she could breathe bigger in the tank than outside it. Though she sadly passed away, her death was believed to be due to cardiac failure. Examination of the lungs of the patient after death did not show any evidence of trauma due to overinflation. So it works. The machine maintained a patient for a full 122 hours without discomfort or apparent harm. Though I'm deeply saddened at the girl's passing, this does change everything. Potential for treating polio patients is limitless now that our respirator is proven to work. Of course, Mr. Drinker was right. Care for polio patients was completely reformed, and the survival rate for polio patients was at an all-time high. Though, many argue that John H. Emerson was to credit for the widespread success of the iron lung, since his improvements in design caused it to be far more suitable for both patients and hospitals. Emerson released his version in 1931, though not without objection. You see, Emerson's iron lung received various reactions since not everyone supported its manufacture. Arguably the most surprising reaction, and the one which caused the most growth for the iron lung, was the main source of Emerson's opposition, and it came from Drinker himself. I'm quite frustrated that Emerson copied my work. Yes, at first he sought my approval, but I clearly told him I was not interested in changing my respirator. Yet still Emerson consciously violated the law, and therefore should not be permitted to build his version. I am well aware that he's selling cheaper versions of my respirator, and if he claims to stand for the general welfare of society, this may very well be his true motivation. The only way to uphold justice, since he refuses to back down, is to sue him. Surely the law will side with me. After all, I legally obtained 3 patents for my invention. So, we go to court. valid solely because the idea for a respirator has been tinkered with for decades. That darn machine is just a thing that happened. Ever since I visited that children's hospital, hope sparked for polio victims. But my machine can't even prevent the dreaded disease. It only treats it. And it's not as though every child placed in the iron lung miraculously recovers. Some may be paralyzed for life. Others, who are lucky to regain strength, do so over the course of years. Well, just move on then. The iron lung is out of my hands now.
I'm so grateful to both those inventors for bringing the iron lungs into hospitals everywhere. You know, without both their efforts, I would have lost my girl. Having sweet Diane here still is such a blessing, but seeing as she's paralyzed, I must tell you that I'm sending her to Warm Springs, down in Georgia, with me nearby. President Roosevelt has made it the best polio rehabilitation center in the country. So many treatments that are life-changing. I dare say Diane may learn to walk again. So farewell, dear sister. I shall write you often.
The success of the 1945 March of Dimes in the campaign against infantile paralysis does not come as a surprise to me. There is no yardstick long enough to measure the happiness our children give us. Whatever we can contribute to promote our children's health is an investment in our country's future. It is an assertion of our American birthright to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness.
Diane has been so happy here at Warm Springs. I thank you greatly for sending her this gift.
Her spirits are high, though her recovery may be slow.
Oh, now that she's able to walk with crutches, the doctors predict she will fully recover the use of her legs one day. And oh, the progress of the March of Dimes. Did you hear Eleanor Roosevelt giving that wonderful speech over the radio? Her husband wrote it, and though he must be so busy with the war efforts, it was incredibly empowering. It truly is amazing to see so many Americans coming together to support the children of our nation, one coin at a time. President Roosevelt did well to organize such a wonderful program for those who are in need of support. Because of this, every day Diane gets stronger and more curious too.
As she was being treated in the iron lung, she grew fascinated with the machine. This fascination has grown, and when I visit, I can hardly keep up with all her questions. She, though still so young, is asking all about the inventors, Drinker and Shaw, and even Emerson. And Diane believes that we're on the brink of a reform in the medical industry, because that blessed iron lung completely revolutionized polio care. Oh, and funds from the March of Dimes, they've been going towards developing Salk's polio vaccine. In a few short years, it may very well be in use. I hope this letter finds you well. Thank you always for your gracious support. The future, indeed, seems bright. And so, because of my mother's persistence and dedication, that young girl grew into a fine pulmonologist, and as you see, I absolutely love teaching the next generation about the importance of the iron lung and how it led to medical treatments that are new. In 1952, over 57,000 Americans relied on the iron lung for their life. However, every machine has a weakness, and the very weakness of the iron lung is what led to the ICU becoming a method of treatment. You see, in Copenhagen, there was a doctor named Bjorn Ibsen who realized that for all its value, the iron lung failed to treat respiratory failure caused by lack of CO2 filtration in the body. So, he took all of his patients suffering from polio, put them in a special room, and used invasive ventilation conducted by hand with the help of hundreds of hospital staff and volunteers. This special room he called the intensive care unit. And so, in a beautiful show of irony, the iron lung's very weakness is what led to a medical reformation that history has proven to need. Truly, the revolutionary iron lung, through its journey of varying reactions, completely reformed the medical industry, where ICUs continue to save lives daily. I ask you, what would our world look like had the machine not managed to manufacture breath? Thank you.